This is the Kingdom Interlinear translation of the Greek Scriptures from 1985 from the Watchtower Society. And many of us know of Johannes Griever, who's a Spiritist, that the Watchtower Society referenced many times when it comes to John 1:1, making it say that the Word was a God. Well, there's another Spiritist here, John S. Thompson. And for some reason I had this underlined, but I never talked about him before. When I started researching the Watchtower in 2009, there was so much that I was studying and searching, and I guess I just completely forgot about this. But yesterday I found a website, and we'll go and look at what they show. I'm at users.adam.com.au, JW Occult Connections, and under Spiritism, they say here, the Society has however found another spirit medium in one John S. Thompson to support their John 1:1 translation. He is listed as an authority in the Society's Kingdom Interlinear from 1985, from which we just looked at. Research in Thompson's book, The Monotesteron, or the Gospel History, according to the Four Evangelists, 1829, shows that his inspiration and direction came from the spirit world. I will leave the PDF for this book, and there is another site I just want to show you. This is from jehovahswitness.com, and it's under Spirit Medium KIT John Thompson Request. And there have been many ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that have done research on all of these issues way before I came around, and I just really thank all of them for sharing this. In the comments here, we'll just start down here. Why don't we go back 4 years earlier than the article in the 1830 American Quarterly Review and go to 1826 and read John Samuel Thompson's memoirs he wrote himself. 1826, The Christian Guide to a Right Understanding of the Sacred Scriptures, designed as a select commentary of the Four Evangelists. There we will find both statements in their most accurate form. Here is page 6, where Thompson states, I shall rejoice in having been the happy instrument in the hand of God, of having done fourfold as much for mankind as all the professed commentators of the last 15 centuries. At the bottom of paragraph 3, Thompson writes, Jehovah being the father of all his intelligent offspring, etc., shows that while Thompson was using and writing the name Jehovah, this did not stop the spirits from the spirit world from seizing his body forcefully, unlike the claims the Watchtower publishes that using the name Jehovah will scare away demons. And here on page 33, Thompson states, I heard a voice very distinctly saying, in all your writings be careful to represent Jesus as only the instrument of God in all he does. That's creepy. Thompson states that he had several conflicts too painful to describe, so these spirit being events happen more than once. Thompson also says that he was sorry he had interrupted the dictation. Okay, so I'm going to go to that book and I'm going to read so you can see for yourself what happened. So from this book, of which I'll leave the link, from John Samuel Thompson, The Christian Guide, I'll read on page 33 what happened here. It says, I awoke one night and heard a considerable noise in my room. I listened carefully for some time, and the sound was that of 1,000 pens, writing in great haste what was dictated. I heard a voice very distinctly saying, in all your writings, be careful to represent Jesus as only the instrument of God in all he does. I immediately interrupted by exclaiming, Silence! I'll not believe one of you. The noise immediately stopped, and I was often afterwards sorry that I had interrupted the dictation. I examined, but there was no person in the room, the door being locked, and none had yet arisen in the house. Not long after, sleeping in the same room, I awoke by pressure, which removed immediately on awakening. I began to reflect whether it was a dream or an external force applied to my body. Whilst I doubted, some being took hold of my hands and pressed them with violence, which excited in me great surprise. My hands were let loose, but in 1 minute they were again seized with renewed violence. I then cried, "Let me loose! I believe! Do not injure me! I am entirely satisfied of your existence." The pressure on my hands was immediately removed, and I then felt greatly agitated and tossed in my bed. In 2 minutes after, my hands were seized a third time. I then complained loudly, but in a minute of time I was again set at liberty. I leaped on the floor, determined that I would make full proof whether any person had got into my room, though I believed that no man could apply so much strength as I had experienced on my hands. The first thing I did was to examine the door, which I found as I had left it, locked with the key in the inner side. I took the key out of the door, and again trying it, found it fast. I then groped all over the room, but found nobody. I retired to my bed, placing the key under me and waiting for the light of day. So that's just one little experience from this guy that Watchtower chose to reference in their Bible. So I'll leave the links and you can check them out further.